Okay, I pressed record too. Things look good. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. It's been I don't know. It's quite, like I said, I've had a few technical issues and
Yeah, well, apparently
organizational.
Apparently the Premier Inn's Wi-Fi isn't quite up to snuff.
No, I mean, to be honest, I've got a scam going at the Premier Inn. If any of your listeners that live in the UK want to know how to get a free hotel room every night, then just send me a message because I'm willing to share this information for, $8.99. You can
$8.99, the price of the Wi-Fi that doesn't work.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm in a Premier Inn, and
I think you've told me because of the cunts that run the place.
well, it's owned by billionaires. Billionaires are always
Brexit billionaires, isn't it?
yeah, Whitbread Group. They own Costa Coffee, which I do buy coffee from. So I do pay.
I like that one. I like that one at Turnpike Lane. I used to go there when I stayed at your old gaff.
Yeah, that was good.
It would kick off a lot though.
Yeah, I saw some like youths beating a man up in there once. It wasn't very relaxing. But yeah, apart from that, I'm fine, man. I've been. I don't know if you can see on my face. I've just been doing a deep cleansing face mask in the Premier Inn. I mean, I know you during the last.
It's a travel tavern.
Yeah, there isn't a Colby trouser press, sadly.
No.
During the last sort of 18 months, the turbulent time we've had, I sort of let myself go a bit. I just gave up. I thought, like, who am I getting sexy for here? Like, the lady who's going to give me a vaccine every 6 months. Or,
Yeah.
I know you dealt with it in a much more proactive way and you got fit, didn't you? And,
Well, I tried to get a bit jacked, yeah, but it's all.
No, you're looking good, mate. You're looking good.
I appreciate it.
But I'm now returning. I've found the strength. So I just had I had a good hair mask. I had a good face mask. And
What's a hair mask?
It's like this white stuff that you put on your hair, and it.
Come.
Yeah, just jizz, and you leave it on for half an hour, and then your hair looks gorgeous. But the reason I'm doing this is because finally there seems to be a chance to join the Beatles. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So I'm getting on a bit now, and if I want to join, if there's a possibility of me joining the Beatles anytime in my life, then I've got to keep my hair in good mop top.
You've kind of got a bit of a mop top look.
Yeah,
right
so
now.
I've got to keep that going, and keep my face as close to being sort of baby young Paul, original Paul's face. And
you think that you're going to get to be Paul?
No, I don't. I think I would end up being like Mal Evans or someone, just like the roadie. I wouldn't actually get in the band.
I understand.
That'd be fine.
Of course not.
That'd be fine.
Yeah. I'd like to be Alan Parsons, because then later on, after just being the tape operator, or John Leckie, like the T-boy, they end up having their own glittering careers.
Yeah, because then you've got a lot
as producers. I'd like to stay behind the scenes. I don't really want to be front and center in the Beatles too.
No, I mean it's a young man's sport, isn't it? We're
Beatles universe.
We're a bit too, but yeah, I am interested in this concept you've got for the new Beatles.
Well, we can get into it in a little bit. I'm kind of, honestly, it started like many things on this podcast as a kind of like a bit of a bit and a joke, but now I've been reading about it. I've gone kind of down the rabbit hole. I've got a whole lot of different theories on what's happening with the Beatles 2, or B2, as I think they're probably going to be called, because it'll have to kind of make their name, more relevant to like the sort of the voice.
Like BTS.
Yeah, it's very like BTS. Have you heard that BTS and Coldplay song?
No.
So it's that kind of thing. It's like, Chris Martin's got a chance for sure.
Oh, well,
You think about modern Beatles, like kind of parallel lives, Beatles, like, potential frontmen. He can do the piano ballads. He could just, we're not necessarily saying there's going to be 4 of them. We don't really know yet how it's going to work. Like, he might just be like, Let It Be Paul.
Yeah, it could be the sort of Fix You's kind of like a Let It Be. It's kind of it's Hey Jude, isn't it? I suppose
A bit, yeah. Or like The Scientist.
Yeah, and he's so keen to stay relevant, and he's willing to risk it all, everything he's achieved to stay relevant. So, if he's doing
when he was on, my friends went on tour with Coldplay years ago, and they played in America. And he would after every show, he'd like get on a private jet back to New York to fuck Gwyneth. Like,
I mean,
he had to. It
hot.
didn't matter where they'd be. Yeah, she was back then. Did you ever buy that candle she put out?
The vagina one.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't afford it even if I wanted it, but
it was tempting.
I don't know. I mean, I've smelled a few vaginas and they do smell nice, but not, I don't know if I want it wafting around my house.
Don't know what your mum, if she came over.
You are.
If your mum came over, it'd be a bit weird.
Yeah, it would. What's that smell? I don't know.
Yeah. Sam, you dirty bastard. I know exactly what that smell is. Where is she? Where's Gwyneth?
Oh, God.
So are you DJing or something?
Yeah.
Peaky Blinders themed bar or something?
Sadly, no. I've been banned from there.
What were you banned for? Not wearing a fedora?
Not wearing a flat cap. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, actually. I did get...
Cillian Murphy could play maybe he could be in a Beatles thing. He's also, because he's in Peaky Blinders, right?
Yeah, and he's one of those...
And he's also in Nolan likes him, and I think that's possibly got something to do with it.
Right. You
got to think about, like, there's a potential sort of that these guys who are going to be in the Beatles, like the Dave Grohl, Johnny Depp, like, it's not as simple as, for example, like, you know, the Beach Boys, they're like franchise model. Like, they're doing all their 60s. Like, we're always just been surfers. And they're kind of like slowly bringing in Stamos and stuff and doing it kind of, there'll be like a Beach Boys in every city, a kind of billions served, McDonald's style, like American kind of, you know, American franchise model.
But,
and the Stones are kind of potentially doing the CGI route because they've said that, you know, it's possible that, like, I think they'll be like what Charlie Watts. We've not seen the last of him, but they're going to be using. And you've seen that recently. They like have that robot technology. I don't know if you saw those robots dancing to "Start Me Up."
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's happening. But the Beach, going back to the Beach Boys, like the reason they were called that was because they were sort of capitalizing on the surfing theme, wasn't it? Even though none of them were surfers. And surfing isn't cool anymore, so if they're going to stay relevant, they're going to have to be called, like, the Fortnite Boys or something like that.
That's true, actually.
You know,
they're going to have to change it up.
Yeah, because the kids don't surf anymore. They just sort of wank and go on the metaverse.
TikTok boys.
The TikTok.
I don't think kids wank, actually, anymore. The gym I go to, there's loads of 16, 17-year-olds there.
They're not wanking.
They're obsessed. No, I think they should be wanking. I think they're at the gym, like, taking photos of themselves getting, like, jacked.
They all look really good, don't they?
They do, yeah. Well, it's funny because I get a lot of lots of Instagram targeted ads for these like kind of chewable, like kind of things that make your jaw look more manly.
Oh, right.
And yeah, so it's sort of like, you know, like all like TikTok 17-year-olds have these massive jaws now.
Yeah.
They kind of have like a kind of model jaw. And I was just thinking, like, never did I think that having a chorly jaw, a chorly chin was going to become like ubiquitous with
Phil Jones.
Beautiful. Yeah, they're all trying to look like Phil Jones.
Do they not just get sort of some filler injected into it?
I think it's possible that it's filler. You know. Well, you know more about this, ladies and gentlemen. Since Johnny is away in LA, he's auditioning to join the Hollywood Vampires.
Okay.
He's down in LA. And he's heard kind of similar to what we're talking about being like just kind of a side man. He's trying to get the gig. I don't know if you've ever seen any like live Hollywood Vampires stuff. For example, like whenever, you know, Johnny Depp takes a solo, when Joe Perry doesn't want to play it, or he's just spent a bit too long at catering and his hands haven't kind of cooled off, or they have a bit too much bacon fat on him.
Right.
Like, Johnny Depp will take a solo, but actually there's a guy hidden behind his amp who's doing the soloing. And he's auditioning to be that guy.
He's called John Depp now, isn't he?
I think John Depp because he's going to become John Lennon.
Yeah.
So he's just doing it slowly.
So Johnny's auditioning to be the guy in the shadows
of the Hollywood Vampires.
I mean,
so he's down in LA right now.
Yeah, that's a great job.
Well, I mean, it's been interesting. It's challenging for him because obviously, like, John Depp is a phenomenal, like, world-renowned guitarist too. So Johnny's at Johnny Payne, and this is, I mean, you think it's confusing. I mean, That it really is. I mean, and I assume that he has some greater aspirations to kind of get into that kind of funnel that goes back in time to the Beatles universe through John Depp.
Yeah.
But, you know, he basically got flown down to LA, and as he arrived, a man met him in a kind of like almost like the Squid Game guy, like with the face,
right?
And just took him into a room where he got to pick through all of the Eric Johnson signature Fender Stratocasters. It's kind of like, because that's what Johnny Depp makes people play, and you know, you have to be able to play Cliffs of Dover even to step into the Rainbow Bar now.
Yeah,
like,
and that's right. You know, that's fair, I think.
I think it's fair when you're dealing with that level of musicianship.
Yeah, there's no room for slackers.
He's there. Well, yeah, there's no room for slacking, you know, when you're hanging out with the caliber of musicians as John Depp. So, yeah, I mean, you know, he's got to learn how to sing heroes and stuff like that. They do come together, right?
Right, okay.
But it's kind of more bluesy. It's kind of like it's a blues harp bit in it. It's kind of more of a Led Zeppelin does the Beatles.
That's pretty cool. I mean, they're just really making, from everything I've seen of them, they're just doing a better version of those things we used to love.
Well, not just a better version, the definitive version based on Spotify at this point. Like, their version of Cold Turkey is actually bigger on Spotify, which is the only metric that you can judge music by, than John Lennon's version. It's also
rightly so.
It rocks way harder.
Yeah, it's
because Grohl probably plays on it.
Is he? So what's his involvement in all this? I was trying to keep up.
What, with Dave Grohl? It's really hard to keep up with.
Is he in B2 or is he like?
I think he's in B2. I was watching a video earlier of him. These things made me laugh. Where it was like, it's him on stage. It's from a few years ago, and it's 2018, because I sort of thought, like, I got to try and find this, you know, as a proper rock and roll detective would, I've got to find, like, the evidence going back a few years, because I only spotted this kind of happening when Dave Grohl started hanging out for no reason with Ringo, and I was like, what's he planning here? And then you realize he wants to get into kind of the top echelons of rock and roll with people like, you know, Charlie Watts, well, rest in peace, but Stones, Beatles, Pink Floyd, you know, because as far as I remember, Dave Grohl was just the drummer in Nirvana and then started a kind of shitty pop punk band. But it's mutating, so people start to think of him, because once you get to a certain age, they're all getting the same work done, you know, and it's adrenochrome, of course, as well.
Yeah.
That they're all kind of like, they look about the same age, even though he's like considerably younger.
Yeah, I mean, Paul seems to just get younger.
On this video of Dave Grohl doing a cover of Hey Bulldog, which is kind of a weird cover. I know. Paul and Ringo are in the audience. It's like just some kind of, you know, Hollywood event. And it's weird, like, Paul looks like Chris Lilly. No. He looks like Chris Lilly from Summer Heights High. Like, he looks like the teacher
Mr.
in
G.
Summer Heights. Yeah, he looks like Mr. G. He really does. I'll send you the video. He looks like Mr. G. It could be. And that kind of fits his character a bit.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, he's a bit of like I don't know. I don't think Paul knows who he is
like
anymore.
A high school teacher bully.
Yeah, I don't think he knows who he is anymore, though.
Yeah.
That interview that we were talking about, and where it was like the last time he was real and last time he was honest, it was in like 1982 or something.
That was a weird interview.
It's weird because it is like you see him behind the mask, and now he's never honest. He never says, I don't know.
Or now, like Jeff from my band was saying in the last episode, that we're finally seeing the mask has slipped, and we're finally seeing this kind of this cutthroat businessman, like Machiavellian Paul that, you know, he was in the 60s. Or maybe, I mean, there's tons of permutations. It could be that this is the Paul that died in 66, who was like come back
from the metaverse.
Exactly, from Facebook's metaverse.
I mean, I was thinking about, just to jump ahead, I was thinking about B2, but like, they're not going to have to go to Hamburg to pay their dues. They're going to have to go on the metaverse and like...
That makes more sense.
Do gigs there first.
That could be it.
Yeah,
like
and
the
then
first gig is them on the Reeperbahn in the metaverse version of Hamburg.
yeah, and then they might be allowed in a stadium in like 2 years.
That makes sense that they would be like kind of how Weezer were the Windows 95 band.
Yeah, exactly that.
This Dave Grohl cover of him doing Hey Bulldog, where Paul McCartney's dressed as Chris Lilly in the audience.
Yeah.
It's dead funny because he talks for about a minute before he does it to this audience of like just sort of B-list celebrities all dressed up about how like the Beatles are his dad's favorite band, his favorite band, and now he's like fortunate enough to say his daughter's favorite band, and his daughter's like 6 in the audience.
Why is he dragging her into this?
I know, and then he has to do a really like niche cover. Like he can't just do like Love Me Do. He has to do Hey Bulldog. Yeah. But it's really funny because like with all of these things, when did it become? It's so bloated. Like he starts playing it, and like Jeff Lynne's on stage for some reason, and then there's about like
the
9 because he was the first guy to try and be in the Beatles.
He was
because he kind of was the Beatles in one person.
Well, yeah, somehow he made the ELO just made the next Beatles records, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Do you know when Free as a Bird came out?
Yeah, and that's just ELO with John Lennon.
With John Lennon,
yeah.
It was like just amazing. Boomer bait.
It's so good though. That I mean,
it is a good.
I'm
tune.
a boomer, I suppose.
Fuck, man, that's a fucking tune. Yeah.
Yeah, I get a little bit bleary-eyed sometimes listening to that.
Well, that might just be the face mask you put on.
It does. It is like an acid attack. It leaves your skin like bright red.
Anyway, just quickly, I want to get back to that, but so it's like you've got Dave Grohl and Jeff Lynne on stage, and Ringo and Paul watching, and like a million other just like minor celebrities, and everyone just like a loving, you know. But why with all these things? There's like about 9 guitarists, 3 drummers. Like there's so many people on the stage playing. It's like that like concert for George Harrison where they'll do like I don't know. While My Guitar Gently Weeps, but there'll be like 7 guitarists
all playing acoustics, and then Prince,
exactly.
Prince
well, that's kind of Jeff Lynne's vibe, actually.
Danny Harrison looks like terrified, and on that, he's like, "Why am I here?" You know, and which is a fair question. But
everyone, everyone's looking at him because he looks so much like George at that point.
Has he got a stake on being in B2? Because he is George. He's just shit, but George.
Yeah, I think he's not good enough. I think you still have to be pretty talented.
Right.
I was saying to Jeff it could be John Frusciante because he's like got long hair and can play slide. Yeah,
that's true. And he's quite sort of mystical. And,
he is. But also, there's no reason why these people have to be musicians. They can be actors.
Right.
It could be like Orlando Bloom because of like Legolas.
Yeah, but did you see him on holiday with Katy Perry where he got his knob out on a paddleboard?
I didn't see him when he got his knob out on the paddleboard.
He's on holiday like in Honolulu or somewhere. Yeah. And he's a famous guy. He's got a famous girlfriend or wife, whatever she is.
I didn't know that he's sort of picking up like Mayer's sloppy seconds.
Oh yeah, he is. And I bet he plays slide guitar, but he is on a paddleboard. She's sat on the front of it, and he's paddling full knob out. Obviously, the paparazzi are going to get a photo of that, and he looks all right. He's got an average penis, but it's just
even if it's average in the water.
It's a weird move.
Big.
No, but he's not in the water. He's just on top, like proudly, showing this to the world. I don't know what what the thinking behind. Like, just I don't know. I mean, fair play, whatever. But
he's not got one of those weird Zuckerberg style hoverboards.
No, you've got to be a billionaire to have one of them. That's so weird, that thing. What is that?
I have no idea. It was one of the weirdest. Did you watch any of the Metaverse like rollout video?
No, I don't know.
I was going to send it to you.
I don't know.
No, but if you go on YouTube, there's like an 1.5-hour video of Mark Zuckerberg like walking around like Avatar, like talking to like a big teddy bear, like being like, "Oh, hey there, John. How are you?" It's really weird.
That's the only way you can have friends, though, isn't it?
Yeah, he doesn't have any friends.
Of course he does. I mean, he's not human, but
I think it's possible though that there is like an angle there, and I think that you think, okay, so the Beach Boys, right? It's technology based, so they were the first to try and like kind of like resurrect the 60s as a band, and it's not really worked very well. You see this new like documentary, this new Brian Wilson documentary, and it's like, I don't know if you watched the trailer to it. It's so sad.
Yeah, I watched it because you told me to. I didn't even notice it was coming out. But
yeah, because no one cares, right? Like, I mean, I suppose that means that the Beach Boys have been quite successful at rebranding.
But I as you know, I'm a big Brian fan, but I hadn't seen anything about this. But you were saying like it's like in your last episode, you're like some fucking like Mark Maron lookalikes dragging him around like Hawthorne and showing him the places where his dad stabbed him in the ear.
I know. I'll be like, you've got this. Don't worry, you've got this,
He's
Brian.
having a full-blown like PTSD attack.
Yeah, he is. That's all the documentary's gonna be. It's just an hour and a half of him going back to the sandpit.
He's used to it though. It's like that's been the last 20 years of his life, because he was happily just in the sandpit. And then they dragged
him out.
I'm not trying to Yoko his wife, because I believe his wife saved his life in a lot of ways. But I also believe she's his manager, and she keeps rolling him out on tour. And she's like, go on, And his back, he doesn't. You've seen him a few times. I've seen him a few times. He doesn't do much. He stops singing mid gig, there's another Brian behind him doing it.
Well, that's kind of, well, I mean, that's the business model. That's why Johnny's down in LA. It's a similar thing.
And it's great. It's like, as a punter, I'm watching the Beach Boys.
Oh, it's great. It's
just fantastic. I don't care that Brian is a puppet, essentially.
So Jason Fine is the guy who did this documentary, and he was the editor of Rolling Stone.
Oh.
But I read about him, and the only things he ever did interviews on were Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, and Brian Wilson. Like, that's just those three.
I mean,
so like,
I wish I had that life.
It's a great life, isn't it? And considering he's managed to become the editor of Rolling Stone based on like only writing about those three artists, seems like it's a pretty easy job. And he seems to be blowing it in the documentary, because he doesn't really. I mean, we saw this with Rubin and McCartney, and maybe this is just like the style of documentary now, where you have to pretend that you're retarded, because he doesn't seem to know who Brian Wilson is in the documentary, in terms of at least just the trailer.
Yeah, it does seem like, I think you guys mentioned it on your last episode, he's like very much a Landy figure who's just trying to make some money out of him. Yeah. He's a new Landy, but yeah, he's got no idea who Brian is, but Brian hasn't either. So what's
no Brian? It doesn't matter. It's a bit sad that Brian Wilson has to still make money.
Well, he did. I think he adopted like 9 children in his 60s or something. So
yeah, he kind of did a Joe Lee thing.
He's got so many kids. I saw a photo of him looking haunted, and with like 9 children around him.
Is that when he worked in the vitamin store?
No, this is recent, like in the early 2000s.
I think his new wife, he's had like 4 kids with her somehow.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah, they've had children.
The one who got him from the car garage.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
she took him ostensibly out of the pit and into the bedroom. They had 4 kids really quick, and she was like, "Get out on tour."
Yeah, no, but they've adopted loads. He's got loads of little Hawaiian children and stuff.
Yeah,
and they've adopted
lots of people do that in LA. Well, it's a big Hollywood move.
It's a nice thing to do if you got the money. I would love to be adopted by Brian, but I can't imagine. I don't know. He's not going to go outside and throw a ball with you like they do over there.
He might play in the sandpit with you. But it's probably a bit dangerous if he gets back in there. Yeah, maybe he's allowed in the sandpit, but if he starts getting cheeseburgers delivered there, that's when the wife comes back out and says, "Brian, you've had enough."
Puts his fireman's helmet on, and then you're fucked.
That'd be funny if his kids like get into that stuff, like I want to be a fireman when I grow older, Daddy. Because Brian's still just 12.
He'd just be like,
he's a big baby. He's a big fat baby.
I bet he wish he was dead like Dennis.
He probably just wishes he was with his brothers.
Yeah, because they're all dead. And somehow he pushed the boat out further than them, and he's still here, just having to suffer.
I know. And every time he goes outside to play with his children, they're dressing up like the haunted memories of his childhood.
Yeah.
And they probably look like Dennis, you know what I mean? So he's just perpetually haunted by what could have been.
I mean, Dennis had the best Beach Boy life, didn't he? Because he
was the Beach Boy.
He was the handsome one. He was the Beach Boy. He was the shagger. He got all the women. And I mean, the Manson stuff's a bit iffy, I suppose. But he did have...
Have you ever heard Charles Manson's songs?
Yeah, it's quite good.
I've got one up here, actually. I think I'll put it on. I don't know if you can hear it. It might be dead loud, so just tell me if it is. I can turn it down. Just let me know.
It's fine.
It's quite a nice song. It's called Look at Your Game, Girl.
He's good.
There's a time for living.
Can you hear that well?
Yeah. It's kind of a Fred Neil vibe.
Yeah. Fred Willard vibe.
Is that Manson? Look at your game, girl.
It's a nice song, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
What a mad delusion. Living in that confusion, frustration and doubt. Can you ever live without the game? The sad, sad game.
It's nice, isn't it?
Mate, I mean, if I was the judge at the court when all that shit went down, I'd be like, yeah, Sharon Tate's dead. You didn't actually do it. You just were the cult leader, and you've got some banging tunes. Like, what I'm going to do is put you in sort of a low security prison.
Oh, you Judge Judy it. You'd kind of be like, give him an opportunity.
I'd be like, this is your chance to redeem yourself. Here's a contract with Atlantic Records.
Okay.
Yeah, write me an album. Because that's beautiful, that. All he wanted was some validation.
That might happen in the new 60s.
Yeah, but who's going to be Manson?
Well, it's like the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood documentary where, it has that alternative ending where Sharon Tate doesn't get murdered. Maybe that's the thing, is, it doesn't matter. Manson, some of the comments on YouTube are really good. They kind of, touch on that kind of what you're saying, which is quite an emotional idea, really. You know, McAflack9916 says here, in another universe, Hitler is an acclaimed painter and Charles Manson is a legendary musician. And then someone writes back, agreed, Hitler painter, Ted Bundy lawyer, Charles Manson musician.
Yeah, I mean...
and then there's another guy here.
It's a dangerous way to think.
There's another guy here who says, Ryan D coming in with a good one here. Talk about a cult classic. Oh, that's quite good. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, Hitler's paintings
and this
are
guy,
dog shit.
Chauncey Holt, whose avatar is like a 7-Eleven sign with Tom Brady's name through it, says, with apologies to his victims and their families, this is a good song.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. It kind of reminded me of Blues Run the Game or
it's Jackson C. Frank a little bit.
It is, and sort of a bit like Love.
I thought Love. It had an Arthur Lee vibe.
It does.
For sure.
And
both went to jail. They might have met in jail.
Probably, yeah. I saw Arthur Lee and Love once. I saw them a couple of times, but I saw them in the early 2000s. And somebody shouted something from the crowd to Arthur Lee, and he thought he'd caught. For some reason, Arthur Lee thought. I mean, he was probably high on some opiate of some kind. Anyway, he thought he called him a white man, and he was like, "White man, white man." And he was like, he had a big kick off, and he's trying to drag this person onto the stage to have a fight about him being a white man, because he's obviously not a white man. But
no, he's not.
It was quite a moment to witness, to be honest. I think this guy had just said, you rule, man.
Did I ever tell you about, definitely don't think I have, actually. One time I finished recording a record with Yukon Blonde, and I was on the island, not the island that I've taken you to, but we all did MDMA, and I was a bit nervous because I don't really do it very often. And,
do you remember when you did loads of MDMA with me and you thought...
Well, yeah, I do remember that. But that's kind of why I don't like doing it.
We don't have to talk about
Because
that. You know what? That was funny.
Well, you can talk about anything. No one I know listens to this. I don't mind.
We once had a New Year's Eve together, James and I, and we had some drugs on the table, and James thought it was cocaine, and it was a massive line of like crushed up MDMA, and he did about half a gram of MDMA in one line, and then
I ended. Don't remember anything else that happened. I just remember Cam looking at me being like, James, no, oh God, like that, really worried about me immediately. I did dress up I have a propensity to dress up like a woman when I get into that state.
No, we both did actually that night.
Yeah.
I remember we had to pull over on the way home the next day to be sick out of the door.
Well, I had to be sick. I think you were kind of sort of throttled by a hangover, but I was really unwell.
Can't remember, but yeah, that was a great night. This was
a kind of similar theme kind of night where I it was a similar thing. It went up my nose, and I immediately just didn't know what was going on, and I get really quiet on drugs and like that, which is kind of probably to do with having ADHD or something, where they do the opposite thing they're meant to or something.
Yeah,
and I was kind of concerned that I wasn't following what everyone was saying. I was really kind of all right, you don't really know what's going on here. And I wanted to be alone, but I was having a nice time. And then Graham came and got me from a band and was like, come and sit with us. He kind of goes into golden retriever mode. He's kind of everyone needs to hang out. It's going to be great. So I was like, well, I don't want him to worry that I'm having a bad time, because I'm not. I'm having a good time. So I'll go and sit with him. And we were all sat around a fire, and I was listening. There's about 8 people there. And I was listening to everyone talking, and I was like, oh, they're talking about Arthur Lee and Love, the song Alone Again.
Only an all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was listening, and I was like, okay, they were having this conversation, and everyone was like, yeah, it's such a beautiful song, Alone Again, or Imagine, and I was like, okay, don't say anything yet. Just make sure that's definitely what they're talking about. Just listen for a bit longer before you say anything. And I listened for about 5 more minutes, and they were really talking about this Arthur Lee song. And I was like, I kind of wanted to hear it again. I was like, I'd love to listen to that. So I just said fuck, I love that band. I love Arthur Lee, and that song is amazing. And everyone just looked at me and was like, what are you talking about? What's going on? And they just weren't talking about that at all. It was just in my head.
Toxic by Britney Spears.
They were talking about Dave Grohl's version of
Hey
Mr. Bulldog. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They were talking about Hey Bulldog.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
tough.
Drugs. Don't do them, kids.
Don't do them.
No.
Don't do them.
It's bad for you, I think.
It's an impossible way of life.
Yeah. You think it might be possible when you do drugs, and then it just makes it more impossible.
The next day. Yeah. I found an interview here, talking about, kind of trying to find early evidence of what the hell's going on.
I mean, we don't know.
No, but I trying to find some. I just thought of a good joke, actually.
Yeah, go on.
Well, that Charles Manson thing. It just came a bit late.
I can't believe how beautiful that song is.
Well, I'm a much bigger fan of his earlier work. Yeah, it's much better.
Before he killed people.
Yeah. There's an interview in Rolling Stone, Ringo Starr and Dave Grohl. One-on-one interview.
What?
It's just them talking in a bathtub for some reason.
I don't understand. I thought Ringo didn't do anything anymore.
Well, he did this one, and the first question Dave Grohl asks him, it's transcripted, is, "Can you explain skiffle to me?"
Was he a washboard guy in the skiffle band, or was he?
What, Ringo Starr?
Yeah, he
must have been.
Jumped that. I think he wasn't in the Quarrymen, was he?
He wasn't George Formby.
He wasn't in the,
Where's me washboard?
He wasn't in the Quarrymen, was he?
No, but Lonnie Donegan, right? I think.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I think he was kind of one chord, and you just kind of skiffle up.
Right, I've drunk loads of gin. I need a piss. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
I'm old, so I need to piss quite often. Over 2 minutes,
right. Just do it. I'll just leave everything running. Don't take your phone with you, because it's working really well.
No, I'm just taking the mic off.
Taking your field recording mic
I'm not in a field.
I'm in a field.
1 second.
Yeah, that's no problem.
You have to entertain the listeners.
I think I'm just going to leave while Sam's in the bathroom. I think just I don't really want to edit this, so I think I'm just going to leave this in. Maybe I'm just going to play something for you guys. We'll just listen to Dave Grohl for a little bit. Listen to him playing some bluesy riffs.
This is gritty, distorted guitar, and that sound that only the back of John Lennon's throat could produce. This is for my mom's favorite band, my favorite band, and now
my
daughter's favorite band.
Now my band. Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg.
This is Hey Bulldog.
17 guitarists playing. 3 drummers. PRS's 335s. Hey Sam. I think Bonamassa's up there. Yoko's in the crowd.
What is this? I'm back.
That was Dave Grohl doing Hey Bulldog.
Okay.
But I didn't realise later on they panned to Yoko and Sean Lennon are there too.
Really?
But they're not sat with Ringo and Paul.
Do you know my friend Majed? You've met him a couple of times.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Very good guy. So he went to All Tomorrow's parties once, and
at Bognor, where was it?
It used to be at
Haven.
Camber Sands. I went to it once with him and gave him his first pill, and he went mad, and that was great because he'd had like a strict Muslim upbringing, and then I took him there when we were 18 and made him do a pill, and he renounced his faith within an hour.
Well, remember when my friend, I did that with Tim, and he was like, if I did tell my mum, I didn't, I got spiked.
Yeah. That's everyone's fear, isn't it? But Majid went a couple of years later when Sean was playing.
Nice.
And they don't allow sort of a VIP area. Everyone has to mingle.
Yeah.
So there's no backstage. That's the whole. I mean, they haven't done it for years, but that was the idea. And his chalet, because you're in like a Butlins.
Yeah.
His chalet was next to Yoko and Sean's.
Amazing.
So he got to chat to them every morning, like on the balcony, just like, and he said they were just really lovely.
I can believe that.
I can too, yeah. But I'm jealous of that.
Has Sean ever done anything really like musically? Is there any of it good, or is he just like he's just got a lot of money behind it?
Well, there's that, but he's got like his John Lennon career where he does just like shit John.
Yeah.
Like the other one, Julian does. But then
Julian's a different story though, isn't it? Because Julian's not like John. Didn't really talk to him.
They didn't care. Yeah.
No.
But there's what's it called? Sean did this thing a couple of years ago. I don't know if you saw it, but I forgot what the band was called. But it was him and his really fit like model girlfriend, and I think they were called Ghost of a Saber-Toothed Tiger or something like that.
So basically, you do actually know what they're called. Are your favourite band?
No, I think that was their name, right? And so, yeah, either that was the name of the song or that was the name of the band, right? But it was a really good song. It was quite psych. It was at that period, maybe like 5-6 years ago when psych was cool again. When you went to like Hamburg and was at a psych fest.
Yeah.
You remember? Yeah, at that period, a bit ago.
See, I was in Hamburg doing my research back then.
Yeah, you were at the Reaper Barn.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was that they had a really good song, actually. It wasn't because he just wasn't trying to be his dad for once, and it was good.
You think they're called the Ghost of a Saber-Toothed Tiger?
Yeah, I think either that was the name of the song or that was the name of the band. But his girlfriend or wife or whatever is really fit, and then he was in the band.
Oh yeah, I see the band. They're up here. Yeah, no one really. Yeah, she is fit actually.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a song called Xanadu?
No, it's not.
Animals.
Yeah, it might be that.
Let's listen to it.
I thought it was good at the time. It might be shit now.
Is this it?
Yeah, I think this is it.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, I like
fit.
it.
Who's she?
That's his wife.
Let's look her up. She's got a cool name. He's doing Lennon though, isn't he?
Where you go.
He's not a Scouser.
Why has he got a Scouse accent? He's never been. Everywhere you go.
I do like her a lot. They met at Coachella.
I bet you do.
They met at Coachella, so there is that too. She's called Charlotte Kemp Mull.
Yeah, I mean, when she's done...
that's cool. She's got a Japanese name now.
Really?
Well, I think you get one if you date him.
Yeah, I hope so.
She was from Atlanta. She's a lot younger than him. Dirty bastard.
Yeah, well, you can't blame him. I think he's been... Yoko's named him as, like, the executor of the Lennon Empire now, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think, like, because she's, like, 95 now or something, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's, like, as old as the Queen. So, I think he is now the boss, and he's in the Dakota, just deciding what to do.
With all of the stuff.
Yeah, with everything. And he's deciding what to do next. So,
I don't know if he's got as much power as he thinks he has these days. Same with Yoko. I mean, getting back to sort of the Beatles, Dave Grohl thing, because I'm trying to work it out on the pod. I'm not thinking too hard about it. I'm trying to figure it out, like, sort of live on the pod here, because I don't want to spend more than 2 hours a week doing this right now, especially given that Johnny's joined the fucking vampires. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm very honoured to be stepping in his very big boots, but...
Yeah, well, no, they're not big boots. We talked about this. They're kind of deck shoes. He's more of a deck shoes guy.
But you two
60s kind of winkle pickers, brothel creeper vibe.
He is a very deck shoe, like, chilled out beach guy. But you two have, I'm a fan of the podcast, and you two are... You've sort of reached some sort of brain. Your brains have attached, and
there is synergy.
Yeah, there is, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant to listen to. You know what I mean? So
thank you.
Yeah,
well, luckily for the people listening, he's back in about a week, so it's fine. And because the end, I know in my heart of hearts that I don't want to say it live on the pod, but I will. He's not good enough to play back up to Johnny Depp.
Right. I mean, I hope he doesn't listen to this.
He's not quite got the chops. I've seen him try and play Cold Turkey, and he's honestly, Johnny's quite a meek guy. He can barely even. He's a Strat guy, right? He's like he's got a telly. He has like a 52 telly.
How do you do that? Get the sustain on Heroes. How do you do that?
He doesn't even know what an EBO is.
Is it an EBO that?
I imagine it's an EBO, but Johnny's so wiry, he can barely even pick up a Les Paul.
They're too heavy.
Yeah, exactly. And he's not got the ability to wear that guitar so low. He's more of a kind of stabby mod. He wears his guitar quite high, almost like kind of as a second shirt, Whereas Johnny Depp's wearing it more kind of below the crotch. So
yeah.
I'm pretty sure he won't get the gig. That's all, and he'll be back probably
He's too nice.
In a week on Wednesday.
You've got to, as John Lennon once said, you've got to be a bastard to make it in the business, and the Beatles were the biggest bastards of them all. And Johnny's not a bastard.
No, he's not got that in him, in his locker.
No, I mean, me and you have tried, but even we failed at that. But that's because we're from the north of England, where it's bred in you a bit. But where you live now, and where Johnny's, is Johnny from Vancouver?
He's from an even more beautiful, calm place, tranquil place.
It's just lovely. Everyone's so nice there. I don't know. They've never been to Stockport.
No, we were talking about 10cc last Sunday and how they are from Stockport, and it makes no sense.
Yeah, that is weird.
It is weird that they're from there, and Strawberry Studios is just in Stockport, above a Greg's.
I went there a couple of years ago to do a radio interview when I was with Swiss Lips, or a few years ago, and because it's like a radio station now. But you go in there and it's still
it's above a cash converters. I think.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
But it's still when you go in, it's still like a sort of wood-lined, carpeted walled studio. Which is obviously where Joy Division did all the good stuff in that, but.
Yeah,
but it's like a radio station, I don't know, Stockport FM. It's weird.
It's right near, if I remember correctly, and I think there's a lad there's certainly one lad who's from Stockport who listens to this podcast, and he sometimes takes photos of my house that I grew up in for me to make sure it's still there. He's a nice lad. If he could go to Strawberry Studios and take some photos, that would be great. We had Cam Rutherford go to Mayfair and take some photos of Nielsen's gaff. I'd like to see the state it's in. Because I remember Strawberry Studios being like near. I mean, this is so bleak. It's where we're from. It's like near the air raid shelters museum, where you just like go underground into where they like. Yeah, there's a hat museum. Yeah, that's kind of got a bit of an Alan Partridge vibe. I'm here at the Stockport Hat Museum.
In the 90s, right? Because I grew up a bit further north from you, obviously.
It's even worse where you grew up. I
think.
Oh
yeah.
It's quite. Actually, you know what? It's two sides of the same coin, really, isn't it?
It's the same shithole. But
yeah,
you
invented Mormonism, though.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, and I'm proud about that. But
yeah.
but when I was like 14 or 15 or whatever, Stockport was only on the map in my head because that was where the Adidas factory was.
Yeah, of course.
So you could get the seconds, like, you could get some Predators that were like shit. They were a bit wonky.
I begged
for
my
like
dad to go there.
20 quid.
Yeah, the Adidas factory was like legendary.
Why was that in Stockport?
I don't know. Maybe it was like, I don't know why it was there, but yeah, it was like the stuff the dreams were made of was going there.
You had to get a ticket, like
knock off Predators. Yeah, you had to get a private. It was dead hard to get in.
Yeah, VIP.
You had to get a ticket to go.
Get some Predators for 30 quid.
They were probably just knock off Albanian Predators.
Yeah, makes sense.
They were probably from Cheetham Hill. All that stuff's in Cheetham Hill now. Isn't it?
I was there the other day, and it's mental. It's a no-go zone for the police.
I know. Yeah, they don't. They can't go there. When I was back in England with Sophie, we had to drive to Bury because my brother-in-law's family are from there. They own a pub. Ross's dad owns a pub in Bury. It's amazing.
Great.
Called like.
What did Sophie think going there?
Well, she loves it, but we drove, and we were driving down like Rochdale Old Road or whatever, one of those roads that way through Cheetham Hill, and my mum was just like, please, can we go a different way? She really didn't want Sophie. Please, James, please, can we go a different way?
There's not a better way.
This isn't what Manchester's like. This is just don't look right now.
Close your eyes,
as you're going
Sophie.
through like Sarajevo on the outskirts.
Close your
of
eyes until we're
Manchester.
back in West Didsbury.
Exactly. That's what it's like. Yeah. Don't look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you did the thing on the last podcast that was like the Beatles food thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was really funny. The Eatles. Yeah.
The Eatles is good, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I thought you missed a few. And I was thinking,
well, I mean, we were just getting into it. So if you've got a few, go for it.
Well, the one I was on the train today and I thought of Penne Lane.
That's very good, actually, yeah. That's good for sure, yeah.
Penne Lane. I'm only eating.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, you might have done that one. And the other one was, instead of help, kelp.
Kelp's good, yeah, vegan stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you're vegan, so you sort of see that.
Yeah. Kelp, I need some seaweed.
What about, Johnny had a good one after the pod. Instead of revolution, reservation.
Yeah, that's
You say
amazing.
you got a reservation.
Wow.
Well,
The only other one I thought of was, and it doesn't really work, but
yeah, nice.
Bacon the USSR.
Bacon the USSR. Is that like taking them contraband bacon?
Yeah, maybe
Because they don't have it.
Possibly, I don't know.
Back then.
Yeah, I mean, I've got no idea. But it just, yeah.
That was good. That was good. Well done. Thanks for thinking.
No, I just wanted to bring that up, but yeah.
We got some fan ones too on our Instagram. There was a couple of good ones, but I can't remember what they were.
It was really good. It made me laugh a lot.
It's the most I've laughed in years. That we had to send him off well, before he, to LA. It can't all be listening to, going to California with a broken heart on a plane, crying. You have to have a bit of a laugh every now and then.
If he does listen to this, I want him to know that he's, he's amazing at this job. He's very, very good, and as a fan, I felt quite nervous stepping in to talk to you because even though we're old friends, he's you two are so good at it. But I hope he's not listening to it and just sort of getting.
I hope he's not listening to it and he's like at like Dresden or like Jumbo's Clown Room, like diving in.
Yeah, doing the line and diving in.
Fucking doing a line, dive in. That's what fucking Liam would do if he went to LA.
Well, he's done it many times. Didn't he do that with... He did a line of crystal meth and dived in, and then they ruined their Breaking of America.
I think that's what happened, yeah. I always like the story of Noel. Like, Noel thinks he could be McCartney, doesn't he?
He thinks he's better.
Yeah.
Like
It's actually, I take endless satisfaction watching Liam get bigger than Oasis.
Yeah, and you know what? Noel has actually sort of conceded to that now, which was a surprise to me. Probably because he's making loads of money out of Liam actually just,
Doing Oasis
yeah,
songs.
being Oasis for him.
Yeah,
because
he's kind of doesn't. He's just gonna be Brian Wilson. He could be the Brian Wilson guy.
Yeah, I suppose. But Noel, his solo stuff now is awful, isn't it?
It's incredible. Yeah,
It's so shit. He thinks it's good, but Liam is just doing like karaoke Oasis, and because Oasis are great, like all the 20-year-old kids love Oasis.
Yeah.
So he sold out 2 nights at Nebworth. You know what I mean?
No, it's more than Oasis. He's going to do more than Oasis.
He's brilliant. So and
it's just like Johnny Marr's opening. It's the same shit. Kasabian. It's all just the same shit. I mean, that revivalist, like Britpop revivalist thing, like that's sort of like. There's only a few bands that can be in it. I guess Blossoms are trying to get in on that, although they're all right. They're from Stockport.
they're
they
all
can
right.
do whatever they want.
Adidas factory lads.
Yeah, I saw them on Soccer AM, like just score like 5 great goals. It's like it reminds me of me. I like seeing long-haired kids from the north do well.
Yeah, me too. Did you see the bit of controversy between them and Johnny Marr though?
No.
So there's a bit of Twitter beef.
Banter, fucking banter.
Not even bants. Like Johnny Marr's a pretty straight up guy, isn't he? He's not sort
Well, he's a vegan teetotaler.
He's
got
not northern.
a temper, hasn't he?
For a northern bloke, he's not northern. He's like married his childhood sweetheart.
Yeah,
he doesn't
he's done
drink.
all the right things.
He doesn't. Yeah, he's not done all the mistakes that we do.
No.
But anyway,
Well, he hung around with Morrissey. I guess that doesn't look good anymore. But
I suppose. But anyway, because do you know Blossoms did this thing recently where they did the songs of the Smiths with Rick Astley.
that sounds great.
So what they did 2 shows, one in Manchester, one in London, sold out shows, announced them like a week before they were on, where it was Blossoms plays the music of the Smiths with Rick Astley.
I mean, it's mad that.
It is mad, but
Mad that Rick Astley's he's just lent into being a joke.
Yeah, he's a joke.
He's just lent into it though, and it's like.
But he hangs around with the Foo Fighters and stuff.
Well, yeah, but they're all in it. They're all in it together. They're like in on it, aren't they?
Yeah, but
he'll be in the
it.
new B. He'll be in B2 at Universe somehow.
Somehow, yeah. But he's into it. So anyway, they did these 2 shows, which were a huge success. Everyone thought, this is funny, this is cool. And Rick Astley's got a great voice. Warrington Boy.
Blue-Eyed Soul.
IKEA, Gulliver's World. Yeah, he's
all the best stuff.
Yeah. And so anyway, they did these shows, very funny, all good. The videos came out from it, went viral because everyone was like, this is actually good. Johnny Marr comments, well, it's funny, I saw Blossoms last week and they didn't mention this to me. And he's pissed off. He's pissed off.
Yeah.
And then there was a bit of a discussion beneath this on Twitter, and he was like, I just think it's a bit fucking rude, And
that sounds like he's being northern.
Yeah, no, for the first time in his life.
He lives in Hale,
Does he?
Where you sometimes DJ.
I was DJing there last week.
That weird
horrible.
outpost of Manchester that's pretending it's like the south of France.
It pretends it's Clapham, and it's
like Alderley Edge or something a bit.
It's weird there, but yeah. He lives in Hale. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Bowden, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah, years ago I used to deliver fruit and veg in Bowden. That was my job. It was like
it's posh out there.
Yeah, I was the slave for the poshos.
Yeah. What does Johnny Marr think? What's the undercurrent here?
I'm trying to still work it out because he's not been very vocal about it since. But he said it's a bit fucking rude they didn't ask me.
Yeah.
But you don't have to ask to do a cover of a band, and I don't know.
He does covers of Smith songs.
Yeah, like he
does karaoke Smith.
He does it in Morrissey's voice.
I know, and it's weird because. Remember when he was in The Healers?
Yeah, they were shit.
I saw them open for Oasis at the Reebok Arena in Bolton.
Oh, mate, that gig, right? I couldn't get a ticket for it, so I sat outside it in my mate's car and we listened from the car park. You were at that gig?
Oh, yeah, man.
I couldn't get in.
Fucking just tunes, mate.
I was like a guy at the Grateful Dead
I think it was
concert.
Little by Little era already. It was like they were doing like beer anthems, like Oasis beer anthems, where like Liam would just go off stage because he couldn't be arsed.
That was bad, wasn't it?
That era, yeah.
It was terrible, yeah. I mean, I saw them, I think it was like 2007 or something. My friend Glenn had 2 tickets to Milton Keynes Bowl to watch Oasis before they broke up. And he's like, do you want to come? And I was like, fuck, go on then.
All right.
Yeah, and I went, and it was horrible. It was just like football hooligans throwing piss at each other. And yeah, little by little on repeat.
Kind of like Woodstock 99 energy.
It was horrible. But yeah, I didn't enjoy it. But I'm well up for the Oasis reunion when it happens.
I remember Hindu Times. That was a tune.
Was it?
Yeah, that one was. I like that one. It came out. I was like, "Oh, fucking, this is a good one."
I heard Noel talk about that, and he was like, "They said, why is it called that?" And he said, "Well, I was on tour, and I saw a newspaper that is called the Hindu Times, and I thought it was a cool sounding name."
Well, that's kind of how John Lennon used to write, isn't it? He was kind of like a Burroughs kind of type. He'd see things in papers. That's a riff, that, isn't it?
Do you know what though? It was actually he nicked that riff from someone. I mean, he nicked everything, but that riff, there's someone came out and was like, "You've totally nicked that from us." And the funny thing was, you know, when like Black Rebel Motorcycle Club came out, they were ripping off like early Oasis.
Yes,
and then it sort of flipped.
But with leather. They were wearing leather instead.
But then it flipped and Oasis started ripping them off. So they were like ripping themselves off through the filter of Black Rebel Motorcycle Club.
Well, it gets this confusing. I was sort of like, I've got lots of notes here we've not got to, but I think it's possible we could do like maybe later on the weekend or something, or whenever you're free, we'll do another episode.
Sure, yeah, man. I'm honoured to.
Because I got this kind of idea that like Dave Grohl is made. Have you ever seen Yesterday, the movie? Did you ever see it?
Yes.
Where they sort of like forget, like no one remembers who the Beatles are, and this one guy gets to be the Beatles. Yeah,
and then there's that heartbreaking thing where they go and find a live John Lennon.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, sorry if that's a spoiler for anyone who's not seen it.
No, it's fine, but I wonder if like he's been galvanized by this documentary and thinks it's possible to do it. And when he's asking Ringo about Skiffle, if he's thinking like, if I can figure it all out and like kind of get back in time and reset the algorithm, like Christopher Nolan style, like it could be an Inception thing where he's gonna like go. If he personally can get back there and reset the algorithm, or like kind of make time start again from the 60s, like Yesterday in the movie where no one remembers. It's basically the same like kind of plot, but he knows it's going to have to start in Hamburg or before it, and he's going to be Ringo. So he's asking, go to the source and ask Ringo. Like that's why he says in that interview, like, what is Skiffle? Like he needs to know, because
he's thrown all of his drum kits away and he's just got a washboard.
Exactly, and that's what it has to start there if he's going to do it. Like the Dead have got Mayer, so they're just replacing people. The Stones have got CGI, and the Beatles obviously like. I'm thinking. Like, it could be more complicated than this. Like, you know, with the Peter Jackson movie as well, there's just so many things that line up. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it could be like Orlando Bloom is Harrison. Here's the scary stuff. You know, the only thing right now that can compete with the Beatles is the Avengers soundtrack, because it's better Atmos. It's better Atmos mixes. And Disney own the Avengers and they own the Beatles documentary.
So they own the Beatles.
Peter Jackson. Well, I think they might, in an Avengers style, we don't realize it, but own the characters of Paul, John, George, and Ringo. Like, you know, like Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Hulk, and stuff. Like, they own the copyright. Like, you know, they own them. So if Grohl goes back. If the Beatles become Avengers, so they have access to those Atmos mixes, because Giles isn't cutting it.
Can anybody else mix
going to have
in
to
Atmos
be the
other
Beatles.
Than Giles, though?
The only people who do Atmos are the Avengers movies and
Giles.
Well, Giles. I mean, whoever's doing the Avengers, it's better work than Giles.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Mark Ronson's George Martin anyway. Giles can't be, but there's no reason that like Benedict Cumberbatch can't be one of the Beatles, because Disney owns it all.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have it's sort of prophetic in a lot of ways, because you have suggested a few of these things which sound ridiculous at the start, but then like
they start becoming very real.
Yeah, I said to you I was chatting to you last week and I was like, have you seen this? And it was Paul claims he wrote A Day in the Life, and
yeah,
it's like, what? And I'm sure you guys predicted that about a month ago.
Yeah, well, wait till he goes after Across the Universe.
Oh, I mean, I'm getting angry.
Well, you're going to be more angry when the Beatles characters are actually just replaced by like the Futurama cast or something, because it's just all Disney now. That squid from Futurama might end up being Ringo. We don't know.
And everyone will forget real Ringo.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course they will. No one's... Have you seen how many plays Drum Together got? Or like his new like Peace shit?
Yeah.
Guy needs a hit.
I mean, what does Ringo care?
I don't think he cares as much as Paul. Paul definitely cares. It's possible that Paul is like working on staying alive forever. That's the other thing.
Do you know what? One cool thing though, we have access to Paul because I think I told you before. My friend Emily her mum is Paul's cousin, right?
Yeah.
So, and I saw her last week, and she was telling me like some Paul stuff, and we can get out. I can get her on this pod to give us some Paul stories if you want. Like, I don't
want her to like.
She won't compromise
danger. I don't want her to be in any danger.
No, she's part of the family, but she
is it like is she part of the family? What about his like fat little son that he has?
Well, he tries to fuck her at the Christmas parties. She's told me this.
Really?
Yeah, and she's like, "I'm your half cousin," and he doesn't care. But he's, you know, who was it who said there's a fine line between being eccentric and being like in put in an institution and that is money, you know. And he's the runt. There's something wrong with him.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a comment from this Charles Manson YouTube video.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, it was great catching up with you.
So nice to see you, mate.
I'd like to do it more. So nice to see your face, and
you too.
I think we can probably end it there. I'll just play us out with some Manson. No, I won't really. Manson, the band. I'm in a wide open space. That was a good tune.
I saw them at Leeds like '99, and I walked past and I was like, man. They were on and they were playing that tune. I thought, that's a pretty good tune, but instead I went to watch TerraVision doing Tequila.
Tequila, yeah. I mean, that sounds like
better.
I would have been watching Manson with makeup on and a feather boa.
You would, yeah. You were more emotional than me. I was hiding my emotions.
Yeah. Well, okay, man. I'm gonna stop us here. Thanks very much, Sam. Thanks for listening to Impossible Way of Life. Subscribe to our Patreon for more of this, and check out like Vom Cruise, because that's Sam's avatar sort of Instagram name, as you guys all know, and he keeps getting banned. I don't know what your plan is to deal with that, but you just accept
rolling
it.
with it. I'm Vom Cruise 3 now.
You're on regen.
What am I going to do? You carry on.
Yeah.
You know,
you can't take on Zuckerberg.
Well, I can, and I will, but I will. I'll do it incrementally. But I'm
in the metaverse.
I think I'm going to quit after this one because it's quite thankless. But it is it's just therapy for me. Once I can afford therapy, then I'll just not bother with Instagram.
Yeah, you won't bother slagging off the family.
Well,
anymore.
No, they need. Oh God,
they need it.
I want them dead. But anyway.
All right.
No, I'm sorry. Thanks for having me, James. Mate. So nice to see you. I miss you, mate.
Yeah, I miss you too. Take care.
Bye-bye.